I'm trying to share this with groups. All right, so I'm gonna do a little bit of painting. Hey, Brooke. Hey, Joyce. Hey, Sandy. Okay, let me turn this back around. My husband's outside watering the grass that he planted, and so my dog's just like kind of going crazy wanting to see him. So you might hear him traipsing around a little bit. And we haven't had him to the groomer, so he's got some toenails clicking. So that I can see the comments, I'm going to share this to my husband's phone so I can see the comments while it's sitting up there and I'm painting. Okay, let's see. What you doing, Chap? His name is Chap. He's a big bull mastiff. He's a big boy. The grass that he planted, and so I gotta turn it down. Going crazy wanting to see him. Ah, come on now. So you might. Y'all bear with me for a minute. I'll get you going. And sometimes it's hard for me to see the comments, so I try to look up and look over every now and then and see them. So I think I'm gonna do something in a blue, maybe a blue and purple tonight. And I had a lot of people asking me some questions, so feel free to, hey Josephine, feel free to ask questions as we go. So this is an art stone. This is a stone that I made from a mold. I get my molds from the Happy Dotting Company, and they're from Australia, but they really do. They ship really fast to the U.S., and it's good quality stuff. So I really like their molds. We have ones that are round, and then we have little round ones, and then we have ovals like this, and then we have bigger ovals. Okay, so what do I use for dotting? These are nail dotting tools, and I'm hoping this isn't too blurry today. So, you know, sometimes my Wi-Fi out here in the country can get kind of sketchy. But these are nail dotting tools. You can get these from Sally Beauty Supply. You can get them off of Amazon, and that's exactly what it is. It's tools that they use in the salon to paint your fingernails with. These are crochet hooks. And the crochet hooks that I use come in 2 packages, the different colored ones, and they're 5 sizes in one package and 4 sizes in the other. And they are called Susan Bates Crystallites crochet hooks. Now the cool thing is they have the sizes on here, and I had always struggled with the size between the largest nail dotting tool and the smallest crochet hook. And then Susan Bates came out with 3 more sizes. They're in white and they're sold separately, but there are 3 more smaller sizes, smaller than the smallest blue one. So that's really cool. But it's the flat side of the crochet hook that I paint with, that I dot with, the flat side. And so a lot of crochet hooks aren't flat on the end. They're actually kind of rounded. So that doesn't work too well. For ovals, I use all kinds of things. I use little screwdrivers. I use these push-on erasers that you get to push on the end of a pencil. That makes a good oval. I use wood coffee stirrers. I use popsicle sticks. These larger craft sticks that you can get from the craft store. I even use a knife that is just a plastic disposable knife. The end of it you have to kind of sand off a little bit because it always seems to have a little divot right there, and so you have to sand that off a little bit. These make really smooth straight lines, and this is a coffee stirrer from Panera and a coffee stirrer from Starbucks. So I don't know how I got hung up on the coffee stirrers, y'all, but that's kind of the way it is. Okay. I'm gonna try to make sure that I keep my stone where I can see it. Okay, y'all. So I'm gonna start off. I use all kinds of these little bottle paints. I use Apple Barrel, which you can get at Walmart. And let's see, folk art, although sometimes folk art can be a little bit thick and I might have to thin it out a little bit. But some of my very favorites are the Deco Art Americana. I just love the texture of these paints, and they're not translucent, so when I paint, they're not see-through. So they're really nice paints. So when I started this rock right here, I base coated it with just I have a large bottle of black, because I don't know, I do base coat most of my rocks with black. So I use black, and then to make it shiny and slick, I coat it with Duraclear. So it's a gloss varnish Duraclear. And this is also what I will seal it with when I'm done painting. Now, sometimes I resin my stones, and then sometimes I just use the Duraclear. But if it's gonna be a stone that you're gonna put outside, then you're gonna want a spray sealer like a Krylon or something like that on it. Let's see, what else? So this right here, this is a piece of shelf liner, and what it does, it just keeps the stone from slipping around. And I saw online that somebody had made a small little spinner out of a fidget spinner. Hey, Pam. And the fidget spinner was making it where the stone would just turn, and so you could just work with it with the stone turning. But I haven't gotten one yet, and I have been into several stores, and you used to see fidget spinners everywhere, and I can't find them. I can't find one. So I'm gonna start out with a center dot. Now, on the stones that I make, the mold has this little tiny dot in the middle. So on these stones, I know exactly where the middle is. But if I'm working with a Mexican beach pebble, which is the other type of stone that I use, and the reason that I use Mexican beach pebbles is because they're so smooth. If you try to dot on a stone that's not a Mexican beach pebble, sometimes it can be hard. So this is a Mexican beach pebble. It's really smooth. And I'm a nurse, so I figured out that these wound measuring guides, that's what it's called, a wound measuring guide from McKesson, you can actually fit it to the stone and find the center of your stone and then mark it. And then you're gonna know that that's where the center of your stone is. So I love this little thing. You can get them on Amazon, but they come in like a box of 100. So when I first got the box of 100, I was telling people, hey, if you just, PayPal me the postage, I'll send you one. And I'm all out of them except for just a couple. So that was pretty funny, but a lot of people wanted them. And yes, I did these. Y'all know that I did those. And I got another mold. I got a different mold, and I want to show you something because this is really kind of neat. So that pink mold that I had showed y'all online, it made these stones right here, right? And they're kind of dull. I mean, it's cement, right? But this other mold that I had, I did these stones out of. These stones, y'all, these stones turned out like glass. It is just amazing the way these stones feel. And I don't know what it is about the mold that made them turn out like that, but they look like they've already got some type of a coating on them. And they don't. They're made out of the same exact thing that's made out of, but you can see the difference. So I can't wait to paint one of these, but that's not what I'm painting tonight. I'm just gonna do a basic mandala tonight. And I'm starting out, when I paint a rock, I never really know what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna put the center dot in here. Now, I don't wipe my tools with anything but an old dish towel. That's what I use, an old dish towel. And I just wipe it off so that they don't get wet. I don't want my stuff, my tools wet to be working on the stones. So, and I'm gonna try this folk art. It's called Bluebell. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm not using the very smallest nail dotting tool I have. Really, when it comes right down to it, out of a pack of 5, you only get about 3 good sizes to use. But when you start out with a mandala, what you're gonna do is you're gonna start out with a cross. So you're gonna dot the top and dot the bottom, and then I turn it around, and then I dot the top and I dot the bottom. So that is a cross. Now, you can make a decision here whether you want to put 1 dot in the middle of those or 2 dots in the middle of each one. And for tonight, I'm just going to do 1 dot in the middle of each one of those. And in case y'all are wondering, I do wear cheaters. I have to have my magnifying glasses on when I do this. And y'all, I gave in. I know that my regular watchers aren't going to believe this, but y'all have been asking for a YouTube channel. And I started a YouTube channel, but all it has is these lives that I've saved. And I'm not a video editor or anything like that. So they're long. I mean, you can like fast forward them, but you know, they're long and you hear all the talking. And I just found out how to take a voice off of it. So, hey, Lisa. Oh, I could buy little Lazy Susans on Amazon. You know, I need to look at that, Vicki. That'd be cool. I need to really check that out because that would be helpful. Anyway, I did do a YouTube channel, but like I said, it's only got lives on it. So it's really only y'all that would like to go on there and kind of follow along when you dot. Now, this is going to be the smallest tip of the nail dotting tool. What's the matter, chap? And I'm just going to put a small dot between each one of those bigger dots. What's the matter? Daddy will be back in a minute. He is not happy. He just wants my husband back in here. Oh, stop it. There's nothing out there. And he just went for a walk. But isn't that funny? He's just waiting on Ron to come back in. He's a crybaby. Okay, couple more dots. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in between these 2 dots, and I'm gonna use one of the smaller Sally Bates, and I think I'm gonna use some purple. And this purple, this is an apple barrel lavender sachet. Okay, hey, hang on a minute, y'all. You need to come over here and sit down. Come on, come here. Sit, settle down. He is not having it. He is not having it. Ron being outside and he's not out there with him. Okay, so right in between them, like that. And sometimes I kind of hold the rock up a little bit, and I am trying to keep it here so that, one of my biggest issues with these videos is that I get to painting and I get the rock outside of the video. And so if I do that, I don't mean to do that. Oh my goodness. He definitely needs to get to the groomers and get those nails cut. But just like everything else, you know, just trying to get an appointment is crazy. So when y'all are watching, let me know where you're from. I like to see where everybody's from. I'm in Virginia at Lake Anna. Okay, now I think I'm gonna put a little line between those. Okay. So, the lines, you just need to go really slow. Okay. These kind of look off a little bit. Oh, hey, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Hey, Jill from Texas, upstate New York, Idaho, South Dakota. Wow, this is really cool. Y'all are just all over the place. So when I paint, sometimes, you know, you do things when you paint and you're your own worst critic, right? And so what you need to do when you're painting is just not worry about it, because by the time you finish, it's gonna look fine. It really is. It's gonna look fine. You're not even gonna notice the little things. And so what I do with a lot of my stones is I top dot, which is what makes it look so, I guess the word would be intricate. Arkansas, Alabama, New York at the Hudson River. That's cool. When you're dragging these dots, they call these drag dots, just go slow. The slower you go, the more fine the tip will end up being, okay? Now, so that y'all can see some of the different designs, I'm gonna use a bigger one right now, and we're gonna do a couple of petals, and I'm gonna show you how to walk the dots. So I think I'm gonna use this size, and I'm gonna go with another color blue, which I was thinking would be a little bit darker, but maybe not. I think we'll have to go, I might go with a darker blue and then change it up and go back to a lighter blue. So we'll see. Whoops, that's the wrong end, y'all. I just told you I'll use the flat end. Okay. So I'm putting that dot right at each one of those lines. So the thing is, when you're not using anything like a stencil or anything, you're still just following this line, right? So you can see this imaginary line that's going from that dot to that line to the middle of that dot. And that's all you have to do, is just keep everything in line. And that's how I do it without stencils, is I just keep following a line. Now, when we do the petals, we do what's called walking the dots. And when you walk the dots, you just dip your tool once and then just kind of keep going with it. So what we're going to do first here is the bigger dot goes at the bottom. So I'm going to offset this just a tiny bit. So I'm going to take it down. I'm going to go around each one of them. I just like to do the big dot first. Some people don't do it that way. Some people will just go ahead and do the whole thing. But I don't know. Sometimes you get into a pattern in what you do, and that's just kind of what you stick with. So that's kind of what the way I've always done it. I used to wipe after each time I would use my tool, and I've gotten to the point now where I know that if the dots start to get a little bit bigger, then I know I need to wipe my tool. Okay, so that's going to be the center dot of the petals. Oh, Maria, Paula, Minnesota. Hey, if y'all think that this is looking blurry, can somebody let me know? Or if it looks clear, just give me a thumbs up or something and let me know. Okay, this is going to be the smallest tip of my nail dotting tool. And all I'm going to do is start right up here and you go right around it, just like that. Now, when I'm using the smallest tool, I usually do wipe after every set. Okay. And so this is what we do all the way around. And they don't always look perfect, but this is just fun, you know? I mean, I'm not trying to be Picasso, y'all. I'm just having fun. Good. Hey, thanks, y'all. I'm glad it's clear. Yeah, I started this about 3 years ago, and I just absolutely love it. When I first started, I would shake so bad that I wouldn't think I'd be able to do it. But after just kind of a couple of weeks of just working on it, my hands got steadier, and the shakiness kind of went away. And I noticed that if I don't dot for a while, it comes back. So I think what it is, it's just extremely relaxing to me to do this. And so I just think it just must be good for me. I don't know. Yeah, see, I wipe that after every row. I guess it's a row. And let's see. Okay. Okay. Oops, I better wipe that or they're not going to be the same size. Hey, Kim, thank you. Okay. Now, sometimes on the petals, I'll do 1 or 2 rows. Sometimes I'll do 3. So it's just according to how big the rock is, what I want it to look like. And I just don't ever really have a pre-planned design. I just kind of just do it and see what happens. Now, I do save my lives. There's probably more on my Facebook page than it is on the YouTube page, because the YouTube page, I just kind of started adding them to it. Okay, so now I'm going to use, now if you let this sit for a little while, it can get a skim on it. Hang on a minute. Hang on just a minute, y'all. What, Ron? I'm live. I'm live. Can you take it over? He's playing around with the dog, and the dog's going through the window, and all you can hear is him traipsing around. Oh, don't you love a live? Okay, so these can get a skim on them, so sometimes I just have to take the tool and just loosen it up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 1 more row, so I get it pretty thick. Okay, y'all, sorry. I'm trying to get this dog settled down because he is just going crazy. Okay, what I do is I do the big dot first. Then I'm going to come back around. I'm going to use the second to the smallest. And I'm going to walk these dots. Ron, I've been telling them we need to get him to the groomer because all they can hear is his nails walking around on the floor. Yep. Ain't no groomer right now. Not many of them anyway. Okay, y'all. See? So that's the second row. Now see, that looks like a little bit much. So what I can do is I can just barely touch that, and then I'll go on up the side. Okay? And if I think that's too big, I can always turn this around and do the, use the little small side again. And when I go to a bigger leaf, like if I do this 3 times, then what I probably would do is go up maybe twice with the bigger end and then fade it on out with the smaller end. Okay. 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 Listen to him. Poor chap. He wants to go play. Okay, let me see some of my comments. Yeah, so like I said, I save the lives. Most of the time they're public, and whoa, that's got a little piece of fuzz on it. Most of the time, well, all the time, they're public, so you can see them, but you can always, I mean, you can friend request me if you want to know when they're going to be, because I'll usually announce it that I'm going to go live. I didn't tonight. I just got tired of work and wanted to paint a little bit. So that's why I'm live. I love these stones that my husband makes. It's so nice. They're so smooth to dot on. And they, like I said, the only other thing I ever dot on is a Mexican beach pebble because of how smooth they are. If you try to dot on a river rock or just any other rough rock, it's just not going to turn out right because the dots don't look like dots. Okay, so we're going to do those 2 right there. Now we're going to use a pencil eraser, and we're going to do a couple of those things that kind of look like leaves. So these, you know, these are just pencil erasers. That one's kind of split, so I'm going to get a new one. So not expensive at all. And if you don't have a crochet hook, you can always dot with the end of the eraser. I had put up a picture of some of my earlier dotting tools. I don't know if I have any of them down here. And I took nails from the garage. And I found out that nails aren't really round. They don't really have round heads because they, I guess they're machined. And so they have one little spot on them. Now, y'all, if I want to see what this is making, I can always dot my tray. Okay? So I can see what kind of dot that's making. And when you wipe your eraser, you want to wipe it flat. Because if you don't wipe it flat, then you're gonna change the shape of the eraser, right? Okay, so typically the way that I do this is I do one this way, and then one this way, and then one in the middle. Okay? So I kind of follow the petal, and they don't all look the same, but that's okay. Rock painting is a lot of fun, y'all. And, hey, Alexis. Hey, Laura. Lori, okay, here we go. More. These, I called them seeds. When I first started doing these, everybody calls them ovals, but I always thought they looked like seeds. And I called them seeded mandalas because they weren't all round. They had seed-looking shapes in them. I was on an assignment as a travel nurse in a hotel, living in a hotel, of course, as a travel nurse. And I was downstairs, and of course, when I was traveling, I would always take all of my paints and stones and everything with me. So one morning, I got up and I went to go get some coffee. And I was looking at that coffee stirrer, and I'm like, I wonder what kind of dot that would make. And so I went back to my hotel room, and I started playing around, and that was when I made the first mandalas that had the ovals, all from that coffee stirrer at that hotel. Okay, now to put a little bit of white back in it, I'm going to go to the top of each one of those, and see, I have to stir again because it sat for a minute and it'll get that film over top of it. So I want to make sure that it's nice and loose. I don't want that skim over it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little white dot above each one of those. Still trying to follow that line, right? You're still following the line. So everything is staying in sync, pretty much. If I miss one, y'all tell me. Y'all, my audience is famous for letting me know when I miss a dot. But that's okay. That's a good thing. I cannot believe it is July 1st. Now, you see that's got a little bit more room between them than some of the other ones. When this stone gets done, you're not going to notice that. That's why you don't worry about it. That's why you don't go wash it off and get mad. Now, Mexican beach pebbles, you can wash those off 100 times. I mean, they're great. Especially if you do it and then you don't like it and you go rinse it off and you do it again. These homemade stones, they don't do that very easily. This is what they look like coming out of the mold. And I painted the back of that one so far. I need to paint the front, but that's what they look like. Just concrete. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do another color. I think I'm gonna use a darker purple and do another dot. And this is a Deco art. Frosted Plum is what this is called. Oh, that's a weird color. Do I want to use that? Yeah, I guess I will. I'm going to use one that's just a little bit bigger. And I'm going to put another. Now let me tell y'all, sometimes if the paint is thin, and this looks like it's a little bit thinner than the last paint that I was using, I go a little bit faster and then I hold the stone upside down for just a minute because that way it'll keep the paint from running. So let me get these put around because they're gonna drip. And this is what kind of can happen when you're going around the side of the stone. Okay, so let me show y'all. You have to be really, really careful when you do this, okay? So I just, and see that little bubble right there? I can pop that bubble. And I just hold it upside down for a minute. So just bear with me for a minute because I just don't want the paint to run. And this will make it, it kind of, that little raised area in the middle, it keeps it in the middle. If you don't, it's gonna lay, you know, it's gonna kind of like it's gonna drip. And it doesn't take long for it to dry. A little ring around it. I got a couple more bubbles. Now, I top dot almost every dot on my stones. And so I don't worry about a lot of the bubbles because they just get covered up. Okay, y'all, hang on just a minute. 158 viewers. Y'all are just awesome. Thank you, Caroline. I miss you, girl. Hey, Kathy. All my MDS coordinators up here. I know y'all are having some long days. I know I sure have been. So Faith asked how many colors do I usually use on one stone? And it just depends. Like if I'm doing a rainbow stone, it's going to be one of every color, you know, all the colors of the rainbow. But a lot of times I stick to about 6. So 3 tones of one color. And then usually I'll throw some white. I'll throw some white in there too. So like with this one, I'm gonna do my white dot all the way around. Looks like it's got a little bit of fuzz on it. You know, I just recently switched the towel that I wipe my tools on, and I think that towel is kind of fuzzy. And okay, see now y'all could say, look, she got offline. She got off of the center. Yeah, it happens. You're not gonna notice it. You just keep on going. And that's the thing about this painting, y'all. If you get into it and you start stressing over it, it's no fun. So you know what? Just keep going, because when you get done with it, the little things you're not gonna notice. But if you just sit there and critique yourself the whole time, you'll drive yourself crazy. So it is just, oh yeah, Brooke, that would be so cool if everybody shares. And this is public, so y'all share away. Feel free to share. Later on, if any of y'all want to go back and look at my old lives, if you can stand my voice that long, it's on YouTube under Connie Moore. And this live, I'll put the link in it. I'll put a link to one of the stones in the comments, and then you can find it. When I first did it, I was amazed at how many Connie Moores were on YouTube. Uh-oh, look at that. Oh, I gotta show y'all something. If you make a mistake on your stone, pointed Q-tips are your best friend. Pointed Q-tips. I get these from our pharmacy, CVS. And so all you have to do is put a tiny bit of water on them and then wipe off the little mistake. That is why I like to put the DuraClear on here first, because if I have to clean up a mistake, I'm not wiping off the base coat, and all I'm doing is just wiping off the paint that I just dotted. You hear me sometimes, I'll get quiet when I'm doing the little dots. I hold my breath. And then I found out I was talking about that on a live, and some other daughters were like, I hold my breath too. So I don't think it's just me. It's just that when you're really trying to get really intricate, it's, you know, you're trying to hold still. I wish I could see all the comments as they go. What mold do I use to make the stones out of concrete? I use molds from the Happy Dotting Company. They're called the Happy Dotting Company. And so they're out of Australia, but they ship super fast to the US. So I know that other people sell these stone molds, but you know, I mean, I just started ordering from them first, so that's just where I get them. There's some other dotting artists. I think there's a dotting artist called named Lydia May. She's really good, and I think she's got her own, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's got some molds, and I think she's got stencils too. I've just never used stencils. It probably would be cool to try. And you know, when I do stones that have words or images, I use my Cricut and I cut adhesive vinyl and I put vinyl on them because I'm not good with, I can't draw a stick man, y'all. I can dot, but I can't draw. So, you know, I know my limitations. Okay, this is sat for a minute, so I'm gonna stir it up again. And if it got a really thick film on it, I would just put a little bit more paint back on it. People say, look at all that paint she wastes. Believe me, the paint goes a long way for me. I can't decide if I like that plum color yet. I think when I put a top dot on it, it'll look better. Probably look really good. What color is that dark blue? That is Americana Bright Blue. I know that I'm not getting to all of the comments, y'all. I'm sorry, I just don't see them all. So, I'm trying. No, so the black base coat is this Americana, and the Duraclear is a clear gloss varnish. And I get that. You can get it online. I mean, you can get it from Amazon, but I get mine from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I think maybe even Walmart has it. It's a Deco Art brand, Americana. And for pearl paints, my favorite pearl paints are Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart has a really good consistency in the paints. So the Kindness Rock movement started about 3 years ago, might have been 4. I mean, I think I was kind of late to the game because when I started posting my rocks online, I didn't even know about hiding rocks, you know. But it's gotten to be a pretty big thing. Most every town, if you look on Facebook for a group, almost every town has a rock group. Hey, Rhonda. Yes, so the Duraclear, I put it over my base coat before I even start painting. Because if I make a mistake, then it's just easier for me to clean that mistake up. Whoa, see that? Now I have to decide whether I want to fix it or keep going. And I think I'm going to fix that. So y'all get to see. Hold on, let me get some water. So that was a piece of fuzz. So all I'm gonna do is wipe it off. Whoops, I might wipe off all of them. But see how I can get that off without messing up the stone itself? And pretty much, I'm gonna do all that blue and just do it over. The whole thing about, let me get in my cup. The whole thing about the Duraclear is that you can clean it up. You know, you can clean anything off of it and you're not going to notice it. Okay, let's try that one again. So we'll do that dot, and then we'll go up the side. There we go. And it looks a little bit dull, but when you put another base coat, when you put another coat of Duraclear on it when you're all done, it'll go away. So if I ever learn how to edit these videos good, they'll be a lot faster to watch on YouTube. And I didn't do a YouTube channel for a long time because I just don't really have a whole lot of time to maintain it. And if I'm going to have a YouTube channel, I want to put stuff on it. So right now, the only thing on it is these lives. So you hear me talking. I did learn the other day how to take the voice off of it, but then I can't explain. I'm not explaining anything. So I can't decide if I want to do that or not. I figure if you're watching it and you're kind of following along, you can always pause it or move it up or whatever. Or you can just cut the sound off and just watch me dot. Because these go for usually a couple of hours. That's why I save them, because I tell people, if you can't hang in there with me, you're fine. I'm going to keep it. Your base coat is the same kind of paint you use to dot? Yes. Yes, I brush it on. That's all. Do you ever do it on a different object? Yeah, let me show you something. Oh, this was really cool. I had some organic natural syrup, right? So here's my syrup bottle. I put Color Shift Black inside of the bottle. It's a Color Shift, it's called a Color Shift paint. And it actually comes out like this little golden bronze. But I dotted the syrup bottle. I think I'm gonna put some like twine around here to cover that part up. And then put something in it, I don't know. I got a couple other bottles over here. And then I just bought a tin, like a little tin that you can put flowers in, like a vase, and it's metal. And I'm gonna dot that for the 4th of July. I'm gonna dot it red, white, and blue. Okay, let me show y'all some drag dots before we start doing some top dotting. Drag dots took me quite a while to learn because I was going too fast. And so with drag dots, a friend of mine, Leslie, told me, when you think you can't go any slower, oh, thanks, Trina. When you think you can't go any slower, you need to go slower. So let me show you what she meant. I'm going to use the smaller end, not the very smallest, but the smaller end of my dotting tool. And I'm going to do the first long drag. And I'm hoping y'all can see this. Let me look at it. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. So I'm not going to go all the way up to the point because I want to put something right there. So I'm not going to go all the way up. But the thinner I want it, the faster you go. Okay? So if you want it thinner at the top, you got to thin out the top, but at the bottom you need to go slow, 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 and then faster. There you go. Okay. Really slow. Because you have to have, and then a little faster. You have to have let the paint come off of the tool. And that's pretty much how you dot. I mean, you don't dot by putting the tool right on. Oops. I'm trying to remember not to get this out of y'all's sight. You don't really dot by putting the tool directly on the stone. A lot of it is just you let the paint come off the tool. So these are what are called drag dots. And a friend of mine did a dot called a swishy. Her name is Buffy, and she's, oh my gosh, she's so good at what she does. And she did what's called the swishy. And it's just a kind of curved little thing like that. I'm looking at a few of the comments. Oh, Robin, you make me want to dot paint. Well, I hope so. I hope everybody wants to dot paint. Okay, I'm going to use this weird purple. What did we call this? What is the name of this weird purple? The Frosted Plum. The Frosted Plum. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up beside, I'm going to try and hold this up a little bit. I'm going to go up beside this one. And come back down to that same point. I better wipe that off. Okay. And so I'm going to do that all the way around. And try to get to about the same stopping point. It's getting late. I know some of y'all are going to have to hop off of here and get to bed. Well, I'm on the East Coast, so it's getting late for me. It's not getting late for some of y'all. But you can come back to it later and watch it. Yeah, those flowers that we did, the cement flowers, those things were really cool. I don't know if I've really come up with the way that I really want to paint them yet. I'm still thinking on that. I painted 2 of them, but I still have some other thoughts in my mind on how I want to do them. And then there's something really quick that I want to show y'all here too before I sign off of here tonight. And that's how to do those really fun, fast little rocks that you can show your kids how to make, how to paint. And I think that they probably could get it pretty easy. Okay, so now with the next row, we're just going to do the same thing, just a little bit lower. Okay. So they're just getting a little bit smaller. That was a lot of paint on that one. I'm doing blue. And I think what I need to do is go to the smaller tip. Let's see if I got a smaller one. This is a smaller one. But you're still just going, Hannah, can you see that? I'm trying to see on my husband's phone if you can see it. Oh, wait, it's the lag time. Hang on just a second. Okay. Hopefully you can see that okay. And oh yeah, Linda, the Happy Dotting Company, oh my gosh, they're so fast. I have no clue how they get stuff out of Australia to the US that fast, but they're really fast with the shipping. And just, they've come up with a lot of good products to help daughters. And they even have the, when you buy the molds, you even get some of the stencils with it that you can lay right on the concrete rock. Now, a lot of people use, oh, y'all help me out. It's gypsum. Yeah, the molds are, I mean, oh, they have a U.S. warehouse. I did not know that. I thought it came from Australia. I'm going to try this one again, y'all. It didn't. There we go. I'm not going to worry about the tips because I'm going to put something over that. You'll see it in just a minute. But, golly, what is going on here? But yeah, they have neat molds, and they're really good quality. And of course, once you buy a mold, I mean, it's not like you're going to have to buy it again. And she's got molds that you can use for either a candle or like those little succulent plants. So I got some of those molds. Oh yeah, I like just to pick the colors that I like, and then you can do various shades. If you only have one color, you can make 3 shades out of it just by adding white paint to it, okay? So just because you don't have very many paints doesn't mean you don't have very many colors. You just have to add varying shades of white to that. Okay, y'all, I'm going to show you something fun. Just to mix things up a little bit, instead of having a dot right at the end, we're going to put a that's not what I want to use. We're going to put an oval. I want a popsicle stick. Here we go. Look, outshine. You know, those are some good popsicles, y'all. And I'm testing it on my tray to see if it's the shape that I want, and it is. And so I'm going to do this sideways. Look at that. Ain't that cute? Right across the top of them. So see, you don't even see where they all come together. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of top dotting after this so I can show y'all how I top dot. Now, the top dotting makes the stone. If I left it just like it is right now, it just doesn't have that wow factor, right? It's my world, as Bob Ross would say. That's right, it's my world. Okay. So here's where I get into the metallic paints, and I'm looking to see what colors I have. If I didn't have the colors that I wanted, then I would make a color. But I think I've got some colors that are going to work just fine. I have Martha Stewart. This one is Antique Silk. And then my very favorite, and y'all know that y'all have watched me before, my very favorite paint of all times is Martha Stewart Mother of Pearl. It's just a perfect texture. I can add it to any color and make a pearl paint, and I just love it. So, but I have a lot of her pearl paints, and that's usually what I buy from Martha Stewart are the pearl paints. So this one is a little bit pink instead of purple, and I really kind of started out with a purple, but I do think I really want to put this pink on it. And I'm going to get a size that's smaller than the dot that I made to begin with. Now, a lot of times pearl paints and metallic paints, they leave a line. Like when you pick them up, you see that line? I don't know if y'all can see that. Okay, you have to be patient with these paints because if you pull it up too soon, you're going to drag a paint line all the way across your stone. And pearl paints are harder to clean up off of a stone. So you're just patient. You dot it. Look at me shaking tonight. And then you come up. And just give it time to get some of the paint off of the tool. And so when I'm dotting with pearl paints, top dotting, I kind of scoop it, right? I'm kind of scooping a little bit of paint off on it. I want it thicker. Some of these pearl paints will stay a little bit poofy, and some of the pearl paints will kind of flatten out. But that's okay. I mean, I just love pearl paints. I'm a mom of 3 sons, 3 grandsons, and I have 1 granddaughter. So I've been around a bunch of boys. So anything's girly, I like it. So sparkles and glitter, I'm all in it. Okay, I got a couple of different colors here. I'm not quite sure what I want to use yet. This one is a dazzling metallic from Deco Art. And then this one is a Martha Stewart. And I think I'm going to go with this more metallic one. And I also have a blue one that I'm going to top dot these little baby blue dots. And this is a Craft Smart Frost Blue. I'm going to do a little bit of that. Now, when I'm dotting, for whatever reason, when I top dot, I don't always go up the sides of the petals. I just top dot the middle dot, okay? So, for instance, let me put some mother of pearl out here, and I'm going to top dot the center dot, and then I'm going to top dot the white dots. Ooh, that was a lot of paint. So I'm just checking because I want one size smaller than the dot that I used to dot with originally. Okay, that's my center. Okay, so now I have the rest of these white dots. So I'm going to do the middle and that one that was above those blue ones in the middle. This is my favorite part, is the decorating. It's almost like I fixed the cake, now I have to decorate it. Hey y'all, Anise, I hope I'm saying that right. It's a pretty name. And Beth, what did you spray on it after the base paint? I didn't spray anything. I just painted it with Duraclear. Deco Art Americana Duraclear Gloss Varnish. And it washes off, so it's nothing that's gonna, it's nothing that's, you know, gonna be sticky or nothing. It washes right out of the brushes. Make sure if you're doing this, get a good brush that doesn't have, that's not gonna leave bristles. There's a brand of brush that was not expensive at all. The brand was called Snap. And I love the brushes. They look like this. They're, and the brand name of them is Snap. S-N-A-P. This is a 3/4 inch, and it's perfect. And those brushes have lasted me for years, y'all. I have not had to buy brushes in a very long time because they don't lose their bristles and they hold up. And they're just good brushes, and they're not expensive. They're like $2.50. Okay, I've got another white down here, so I'm gonna go around and do that white top dot. I don't wanna miss one. If I miss one, I know y'all will tell me. Oh my gosh. I go back and I listen to these videos after I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, listen to me just run my mouth. I wish I could hear y'all. I wish we could do this like a Zoom so that I could hear y'all talking too. That would be cool. Whoa, almost went into the blue. Cassidy, where's my baby? Cassidy's my daughter-in-law. She had my baby granddaughter, my girl. Okay, I'm gonna top dot this pink one. Cassidy's my Color Street girl. Oh my gosh. And I don't have any on right now, Cassidy. I should have done a live and put some on. She gets me all the time when she's like, where's your Color Street? I don't have it on. I think y'all probably know what Color Street is. It's the nail strips. They're so cool. It's addicting just to buy the different sets. I saw the 4th of July ones, Cassidy. They're awesome. I do need to get some from you. If anybody else wants 4th of July nails, Cassidy, drop your link. You know I'm going to let you put your link in here, girl. Oh, my goodness. It's getting late now, y'all. Okay, so that is all of that purple. Now I'm going to put a little bit of this blue. Now, this metallic blue, it's beautiful, but it is some kind of runny, okay? You have to be really careful. And, you know, it's just paints, you just never know what it's going to be like. Whoa. I probably could have used a smaller, let me use a smaller one. Because that paint is so runny that it's just going to spread out anyway. And I'm not really trying to cover up the whole dot. Although it's kind of trying to cover up the whole dot. But we're just going to go with it, y'all. We're not worrying about it. Boy, that's such a pretty blue, though. I just love that color. You know, I'd paint a lot more blue rocks than I did pink rocks. Oh, hey, Rhonda. Okay, yeah. Cassidy, she said she'll get some Color Street from you. Those, the ones for the 4th of July were really pretty. I just haven't had time to stop and get them. Now, when I top dot my seeds, I seem to just I just put a dot in each one of the top parts of it. I have no idea why. You could top dot the whole thing. But it's just something that the way I started doing it, and you know, you just kind of keep doing it the same way that you've been doing it. I love it when sometimes I'll see a rock online and it looks just like mine or like one of my designs, and I just love it because I know that somebody watched it and got something out of it and was able to make something really pretty. So I do not mind. Now, a lot of artists do mind, so y'all need to be careful if you start painting rocks. You know, some artists do get offended if you copy their work, but I do this so that y'all can copy my work. I originally started painting watching YouTube videos by Kristen Uhrig, U-R-H-I-G, Kristen Uhrig. She's amazing, and that's who I started by. And she did the same thing. She did videos just so that people could copy her and learn to dot. So I don't mind it either. Now I'm going to top dot that pink with, let me show you what I did on this popsicle stick. On this popsicle stick, I got a little piece of sandpaper, and I don't know if I have any sandpaper right here. I don't, but you know what I do have? Sometimes I dot with an emery board, and I think I might have one of those. Okay. So if you want a different size, right, you can take a popsicle stick and take one end of it and scrape it down. and file it down, right? And you're gonna make more of a pointed shape. So you can do that with your own emery board and popsicle sticks. Now I'm gonna test it to make sure it's what I want. And that's not what I want. I want something that's a little bit rounder. So I'll test this one. That's what I want. Because I'm just gonna top dot, but I don't want to top dot it with something round because it's not a round dot. And then the other thing that I do is my drag dots, I usually will dot the very tip of each one of my drag dots. I think I've actually done better tonight trying to keep this in the view of the camera, so hopefully. Now, what am I going to put? I have this is the new, it's a Martha Stewart, but it's in a different bottle. It doesn't look like this anymore. This is her newer, those are her newer paints. This one is called Wisteria, and I think it's gonna look really nice on that plum. So we shall see here. It's gonna give it more of a pink. Whoa. Well, that's a burst of color. Wasn't expecting that, but it looks pretty. Okay, stay here in the... Yeah, that's not a bad color. It's got a little bit of a contrast to it with that plum behind it. Whoa, this one is, it will leave a bad line if you're not careful. It kind of goes really good with that metallic blue. Okay, so what we have left to do here is I need to go back to this blue and I need to dot this, that one all the way around. Look at this, 54 people still on. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad y'all like it. Now, if I were gonna be doing this for a little bit longer, I probably would have gone down a little bit further on the rock. But, you know, I mean, I can't make the video too long. Unfortunately, my videos end up being a couple hours long, usually anyway. Now, this is what I said I do with the drag dots. I don't know, I call it a feather, I guess. I just dot the tip ends. I don't know if you can see that. But that's what I do. I just dot the Now see, this is what I was telling y'all in the beginning where, you know, I might get a little bit off center here, off center there, is that when all of this busyness gets onto the rock, you just don't notice those things. And so there's no sense in being hard on yourself about something that at the end, you're not even gonna notice. Oh, now this is really cute on that feather. Y'all, look at that. That looks really cute. I like that. I think I do like the wisteria on this plum. It's nice. Okay, so then after this, I have, that dot got a little smushy. I wonder what happened to it. I'm gonna redot it. There we go. Don't know what happened. I must have hit it. I probably have it on my hand somewhere. Oh yes, y'all, and I have been impatient, and I've picked up a rock to go show my husband because he's so supportive. He loves looking at my rocks, and dropped it while it's wet. Ruined the whole thing. I have done that. And I did a Christmas ball one time. I saw everybody dotting these Christmas balls. And if you want to dot a Christmas ball, the best way to do it is to take a coffee cup, wet a paper towel, set it over the coffee cup, and put your ball in that wet paper towel because it holds it still. But I had bought some glass Christmas balls, and a girl wanted one for a baby's first Christmas. And so it was a silver ball, and I did it in baby pinks, and it was literally, I think, the best dotting I had ever done. And I picked it up, and it slipped out of my hand, fell on to the coffee cup, and shattered right on my desk. Now, after that, I started looking at everyone's Christmas balls that they were dotting, and they weren't glass. They were shatterproof or plastic, okay? They were shatterproof. And I had gone online to try to get some in black because I really do like the black backgrounds. And they sell out of black Christmas balls so fast because I guess that's a whole lot of people get them and paint them. And so if you want black Christmas balls to paint at Christmas time, you have to be ordering them things by like September. I mean, they sell out really fast, so. Okay, y'all. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't do the row right here in the middle of the blue. Okay. Yay. All right. Tracy, you're gonna need one of my rocks. You deserve one of my rocks, girl. So this, okay, y'all, I think this is a number 3 size. So you can see it's good palm size, right? I mean, it's a nice big rock. I was trying to find one of the smaller ones. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside for a minute because I wanna show you something that the kids can do, okay? So I'm gonna get this little tiny black rock here, and this is just a little Mexican beach pebble, but I have a paint that I absolutely adore. It is a folk art multi-surface lime green, okay? So let me get a couple of other paints here. I'm gonna get I got a pink, a red, a yellow, and I'm gonna show y'all what I do. This is a Craft Smart yellow, which might be a little translucent, I can't remember, but the rest of these are Americana. And I'm just putting a little bit out on my tray. And I'm going to show you how fast this is and what you can do with the kids. Any young people that don't think they can paint, right? All they have to do is this. Get them something to make a circle with, a little dot with. It could be a nail, it could be anything, right? Let's make a couple. My white's almost dried out, y'all. I think I'm gonna have to pour a little bit more in it because it is not. Where'd my white go? Okay, so we're looking at kid rocks. These are ones that are fun to hide. You know, the kids like to go to the park and hide these rocks. So what I have them do is I just put a couple of white dots around. Okay, I think we'll do this one too. This one is a, it's one of the molds. Oh, I hear fireworks, y'all. They must be having fireworks down at the lake. Okay, so those are going to be the middle of your flowers, okay? And then we can take a popsicle stick, and all you have to do is one on top, one on bottom, one on this side. I hope, wait a minute, maybe I'm not in line. I'm so sorry, y'all, if I'm not. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so top, bottom, side, side, okay? And we can go in the middle. I'm not as worried about these touching because flower petals aren't, you know, I mean, sometimes they touch, right? They touch. So I'm not as worried about it. And you don't need to let the kids worry about it. Just say all flowers are different, right? So here again, we're doing top and bottom, side and side. And you can use all kinds of different things to make these flowers, okay? But I'm going to show you what makes this rock. What makes this rock is the green that we're going to put on it. Okay, so maybe now we have that one, and maybe now we want to do a red one. And we're just going to do this one with the circle, the round dots, right? So top and bottom. Now you can always play around and practice. And I'll tell you what I like to practice on is one of two things. Walmart sells black cardstock. And I'll take that black cardstock and I'll cut it into like 4 pieces. And I'll practice on that cardstock. Okay, so this is a coffee stirrer from Starbucks. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what that looks like. That leaves, well, that's a lot, but that they're more lines. They're more like lines, but this is, you can rock them a little bit. But these are just, you're trying to make flowers, so they don't all have to be the same, right? They don't all have to touch. So let me move this one back and put this one right here so you can see. But these are really fun, fast ones that the kids can make and go hide. Okay, so do a couple more. And this one, let me do maybe a little blue one. Little blue flower, okay. And then maybe we'll go for another red flower. Okay, now when these dry, one of the things that you can do is when you get ready to do, you can do a top dot and you can make it white and just do the very top of the flower. But let me show you this. Take your pencil eraser, okay? Dip it in this green. I'm gonna move this out the way for a minute, y'all. Dip it in this green. This is, like I said, this is a multi-surface lime green. And then just make leaves. These turn out so cute. Let me make sure you can see this where I've got it sitting. I'm getting a lot of stuff around me. Yes, you can see it. Okay. I'm just making sure. So So look at that. Isn't that adorable? They just turn out so cute. And I think the green is what makes it. And so you just put little greens all over it. I can't see any comments, y'all. I don't know if y'all are making comments. Oh, I see it. Oh, you've been taking screenshots. Girl, I'm going to leave this up. You're not going to lose it. You can come back to it anytime. So my pearl paints. So my wife is the artist, and she said, yes, do this with your kids. I was like, yes, cool. The pearl paints, I get it like Michael's, or you can get them at Hobby Lobby. You know, AC Moore just sold out to Michael's, so, you know, not really any AC Moore anymore. But, yes. So if you're not in your local rock group, you need to go to Facebook. And you need to get in your local rock group, because what happens is on the back of your rock, you're going to write keep or rehide and your rock group name. And you can write post a pic. And so what will happen is people will find your rock, usually a lot of times in parks. I'll tell y'all, when I hide my rocks, when I hide my rocks, I don't have anything on my rocks that waterproof them. So I don't want them sitting around hiding and getting rained on. So I leave mine pretty much in plain sight. And I usually leave mine on lampposts. So I kind of like the whole lamppost thing. I'll leave them on lampposts at Walmart or Lowe's. If I go get gas, sometimes I'll leave one at the gas station. And every now and then, if I see a drive-through person that's looking like they're having a bad day, I'll give them a rock, right? Because what else can we do? So, so I usually carry some with me. But the kids, they love hunting them. And my grandsons like to hide them just as much as they like to find them. We've gone to the park just to hide them before. And they think it's just so much fun to hide them. So, and we have found, in Virginia, we have found stones from Florida. I found a stone from Oregon. So we have found a lot of stones. Now, if you want to make this even just a tiny bit fancier, right? This is all you have to do to make it fancy. I don't know why this adds to it, but it does. Polka dot it in white. Look how fancy that looks, y'all. I just love it. And that didn't take but a minute to do. I mean, and so kids that think, oh, I can't paint a rock. Oh, they can do this so fast and have so much fun. But now we've got a polka dotted flower rock. Look at that. That's so much fun. And this is a perfect one to keep with you when somebody's having a bad day. And you can make them smile by handing them a rock. I mean, we need more of that in the world right now. So find your local rock group and join it. And even if you don't do anything but just watch, I join lots and lots of rock groups. I think, y'all, I'm in, my last count, I believe, was 200. I think I was in 249 different rock groups. So when I go on my Facebook page, or if y'all go on my Facebook page, oh, I mean, that's going to be about, you're going to see so many rocks, because people just, it's just incredible. Yeah, so this is called the Kindness Rocks movement. It started about 3 or 4 years ago. Really got into it 3 years ago. And the kids really, really loved it. Yeah, Rena, you're right. We need about 10,000 rocks the way 2020 is going. I can't draw a straight line either, but I can dot. I can dot okay, but I can't draw. I have another stone over here that I started, but I haven't finished. And this is a real Mexican beach pebble, but I haven't finished it. I can't really decide what else I'm going to do to it because I started it out so big. But I do that. I'll start something and then I won't finish it for a while. Okay, y'all, this has been fun. I'm gonna have to get off of here, and I have really enjoyed being able to do this. So Rhonda, these are cement. This one is cement. If it's a perfect circle, it's cement. This one is a Mexican beach pebble. Whoa, look at that. See, y'all, I told y'all I mess these up all the time. So I'll have to fix that one with my pointy Q-tips now. This one is from a mold, so it's from a mold. Now, pointy Q-tips to the rescue. See? It's gonna be fine because you can clean it up and redo it. This is why I base coat these rocks before I paint. Keep a bottle of water next to you too. But if you base coat these with Duraclear, you're not going to have a problem if you need to fix a mistake. Okay, so if you have a mistake that you need to fix, it'll be fine as long as you've gotten the Duraclear on it first. So now we just fix it. Put a couple polka dots on it. And then after these dry, probably tomorrow, I will put the final coat of Duraclear on them. Let's see. So this is what they look like, and I don't know how good you can see this, but this is what they look like if they're resined. They look like they're really shiny, like glass. I mean, they're, and then the backs have a little bit of, like I put them on one of the plastic cutting mats. That's what I was gonna tell y'all. If I'm not using the black cardstock, I go to the Dollar Tree, right? So I can get them for $1. They come in like a 3-pack, and they're plastic cutting mats. And I can come home and I can cut those into squares. I'll show you. Squares like this. And this one, I had put down what my different tools, what shape they made. But this will come right off. You can scrape it right off. So you can cut these and you can dot on them and then you can wipe them off and then you can dot them on again and wipe them off. And see, like that drag dot, I mean, and it just comes right off. So these cutting mats at Dollar Tree are great to use. If you need to clean your tools, I use this nail polish remover that has the sponge in it, and I just dip my tools up and down in that. This one's almost dry. I need to add some more to it, and it'll clean them off. So that's how I clean the tools. And then one more. Yeah, the pointed Q-tips, I just dip it in some water and wipe it off with my finger. And then the other thing is, if y'all know what a Cricut is, hey Gail, you know what a Cricut is, right? You can cut, it's a cutting machine. So I use my Cricut if I'm gonna put words on a stone or a picture on a stone. So like this right here, I resined this stone. but this, the words right here, that's from my Cricut. I cut that. It's adhesive vinyl. And I cut that to go on the stone. Let me show you a couple more. Okay, don't get offended. I'm going to show you a football team. Don't get offended if you don't like the football team. I'm just showing you this for the vinyl. Okay, so we have the Eagles. This is vinyl from the Cricut. Okay, so I downloaded this image on my computer, and then I hooked it up to the Cricut, and the Cricut cut this shape out. It's just like Cowboys, okay? That's vinyl from the Cricut. And then the other, I have another one. This is, y'all know this is the symbol for, it's like a suicide awareness, that semicolon. So they say that a lot of people have a semicolon tattoo, and this is when someone could have committed suicide but did not, because this is what you use in a story when you could have ended a sentence but you didn't. And so if you see the semicolon on someone, it's because their story continues. And that's what this says, the story continues. So these are fun little rocks. And see, I did those flowers just like I showed y'all there. And this butterfly and the little semicolon and all the words are made with the vinyl from the Cricut. And one day I'll do a video and show you about the vinyl. In fact, I have one. I don't think that one got on YouTube, but if you go into my Facebook and you go to photos and you go to the album with all the videos, these videos are the long videos. They're always like 2 hours long. And, you know, you can start them and stop them at any time. And so that is about it for tonight, y'all. I hope you had fun in watching me. And I will put my link on here. The Eagles. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you about the Eagles, y'all. So I was a travel nurse for 6 years, okay? So I was traveling all around, and every time I would get on an assignment somewhere, the team, with whatever they were playing at the time, would win. So in 2013, I think it was, I was in Baltimore, and the Ravens won the Super Bowl. That's kind of what started it. And then I was in Chicago, and the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup in 2013. And I was back in there again, 2015, the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup again. I was in Kansas City when the Royals won the World Series. I was in, I was in California when the Golden State Warriors won their first basketball championship in like 40 years. And then when I went to Pennsylvania and I was on an assignment out there, it was pretty much the beginning of football season. I told them, I said, you know, the Eagles are going to win because I'm here. And every time I go somewhere, the team ends up winning the championship. And sure enough, they won the Super Bowl that year, a couple years ago. And so I was making a bunch of Eagles rocks for the girls out there. So it was just funny. I mean, traveling and travel nursing was a lot of fun. My husband's retired, so he traveled with me, and we had a really good time. But yeah, that's my Eagles story. Okay, y'all, I am signing off. I got some things, and I've got to hit the sack. So thank you for jumping on here. And I'll save this, and probably sometime tomorrow, the next day, I'll go ahead and upload this to YouTube. And it won't have the comments on it, but you can watch it again and again and again. Okay? Good night, y'all. Let's see. Okay.